Washington Commanders.
And so Cooper Rush, 3-0 this season, 4-0 as a starter, first Cowboys starter ever to do that at quarterback. Afterwards, EA with CR.
Well, Cooper Rush told me just coming up, played all right, ugly game. You said to me on Friday, though, 3-0, I want to go 4-0. You are. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's the NFL. It's always ugly sometimes, and you just got to win. Our defense, again, 10 points. I mean, those guys are unbelievable. We got field goal range enough, and Brett made the kicks, and just made a couple plays, and another great team win.
I'm going to talk about your defense and also CeeDee Lamb in a minute, but we talked a lot about you in this game. Your ride, being cut, re-signed, home on Sunday when you were out of the league. I know you're focusing on the game, but what about this moment for you?
Yeah, you get to play, for the Dallas Cowboys on a Sunday afternoon. It's pretty awesome. So definitely cherish it. It's been good. We just want to keep stacking them.
And then, of course, your touchdown to CeeDee Lamb. We also saw the excitement with you guys with the touchdown to Michael Gallup. But with CeeDee, these last two games, what's opened up for the two of you?
Yeah, unbelievable route. Great call by Kel to get into that one. And he was one-on-one. You knew he was going to win. And just had to buy time, make the throw. And CeeDee Lamb's a big-time player, and he's always open, and he did a great job today.
Fun question for you, and a final one. This defense, you mentioned it. Can you imagine being an offense going up against them?
Yeah, I'm glad in camp we wore the red jerseys.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Sean, Cooper Rush right now, one of the feel-good stories in the league.
Yeah, listen, first off, it's a long way from Central Michigan. And I'll say this, a couple things. Credit the coaching staff, because I said this on the earlier show, when you have an injury to a significant starter, and you're obviously your starting quarterback, Dak, it's significant. Sometimes those kind of mini crises can really elevate the level of everyone else. And it also, as a coaching staff, brings you back to a formula that is consistently won in our league. They're playing good defense. They're rushing the passer well. We saw that today. They're establishing the running game, and
thank you for coming by the channel, J-Mac Sports 24/7. I'm J-Mac. If it's your first time at the channel, please like, subscribe, and share, and do leave a comment. We got the W, y'all. We got the W. It's what I expected. It's what you expected, right? And Washington Commanders are what we thought they were. They're the Washington Commanders. So this is just another W that we expected to get. We saw them on the schedule. That's two W's right there. We knew that we were going to get them 2 L's, right? So we had to keep winning. We had to keep winning because that other team in our division won today. And that's what you got to stay focused on. Now, don't get it twisted. We're still the champions. We're still the NFC East champions. There's no doubt about that. It's America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. We are the NFC East champions. Don't get that twisted. Okay? You may be undefeated right now, you Eagle fans, and you should feel good about yourself. I mean, we just left September. So you should feel good about yourself. But I like you've been there. I know this may be a little difficult for you, but I like you've been there. Okay? We beat the Washington Commanders 25-10 in Dallas, October 2nd, 2022. It was a little ugly. It shouldn't have been as ugly as it was, but I had no doubt we were going to win the game. I just wanted a little cushion. But I'm happy the fact that Cooper Rush did not lose the game for us, and he managed the game. He did show why he's a backup quarterback for me on one play, at least. And that was when he threw the interception that was taken back because of the holding call by the Washington Commanders. And why I say this, because any quarterback can throw an interception, but why I label him like a backup, this was a backup move that he did, backup quarterback move that he did. All right, we were not in the football field. Our end zone is a couple yards away, and the Washington Commanders was really putting it on us. They're up front, the defensive front. So Coop, instead of using his mechanics that he was taught how to, because we have a quarterbacks coach, he's taught how to use mechanics. All quarterbacks should use certain mechanics to get the ball off. And then there are quarterbacks who have, just natural gift, just naturally talented. Coop tried to throw the ball from his back foot, intercepted into double, triple coverage. Now, the guy was wide open. I forget who the receiver was at that time, but he was wide open. And Coop saw him, but it was too late. Now, yeah, there was somebody in his face, but you don't throw that pass from your back on your back leg when you got defender in your face. You don't throw that. You either eat that, because that's the only thing you can do at that point. You don't have the luxury to run outside the tackle and get it beyond line of scrimmage. So you got to eat that, and that's what you should do. So I'm a firm believer. To win the championship, you need skills and you need luck. In any sport, any level, you need skills, you need talent, and you need luck. Lady Luck always plays a part. Sometimes the ball's got to bounce your way. Sometimes I believe you can make your luck, but luck does play a part. So we was fortunate to get that call against the Washington Commanders and move forward. Outside of that, Cooper, he had some throws he overthrew a couple of times his receivers, but I've seen Dak do that. I've seen the modern day GOAT do that. That happens. I've seen Captain Combat Roger Staubach do that. I see what I consider the greatest of all time, Joe Montana, do that. So it happens. But for the most part, he did not lose the game for us. He managed the game, and that's what we expected him. And so he played within himself, and that's what you want. Play within yourself. Don't try to do more than what you can. So thank you. What I noticed in this game is that the defensive coordinators, y'all got to watch out now. Michael Gallup's back. Why I say that? Why I'm talking about Michael Gallup? Because we have CeeDee Lamb, Noah Brown, and now you cannot stack the box against us. You're about to see Zeke and Pollard show them true selves. Zeke ain't done. Zeke is not done by a long shot. So you defensive coordinators, get ready. We had, 2 defensive pass interference calls against the Washington Commanders because of Gallup stretching the field. So either he's going to catch that TD and catch that ball and hit a TD, or he's going to get a pass interference call. And I love the fact that Kellen Moore, go deep. And in pass, when Jason Garrett was led to him, he would not. I don't think he really wanted to go deep, especially in our own territory. But that's how you keep defenses honest. That's how you keep defensive coordinators honest. You got to do that. Go deep. They do it against us, so we got to do it, So that's what I saw. When you see the game within the game, you watch the game, and you see, it was kind of hard for us to run the ball on a consistent basis today. And for the most part, since the season started, but we're still young. We're still early in the season. 4 games. We got a long way to go. But if our receiving core can stay healthy, and I can't remember when the last time Michael Gallup played an entire season unscathed, but I would love to see him continue to play for the rest of the season. Not just he, but our other receivers. You're going to see Dalton Schultz. Oh, I forgot about him. So our receiving core, we're going to really keep defenses honest. We probably have the best defense in the league right now because we're doing it with a 4-man front. And our secondary is on you. Like stick 'em. And I know you young bloods don't know what stick 'em is. Right? It's a substance that the NFL will allow back in the day for defensive defenders to, it's like this, some like a glue, pasty glue that they would rub all on their bodies and help them with pass to intercept the ball. And they just stayed on them. Once you get stick 'em on you, it stayed on you. So our secondary is playing with an attitude. That's what you got to do. You got to play. I don't care how big or how small you are, you play with an attitude. When I say how small our secondary, because the other night, we was watching a documentary on YouTube called Scared Straight. 20 years later. It's been out a long time. So those who's old enough to remember this documentary came out. This program was put in place for juveniles who was continuing to stay in trouble. And I'm gonna get back to football in a second here, of the game we just played. But where the juveniles were going to this prison, I think Rawway Prison, I think it was, and they were trying to scare the juveniles straight before they got to the point where they were, now adults are been tried as an adult, and now you in adult prison. It was trying to scare them so to the point where they would not be there. And so it was about 8-10 kids, and the inmates were in the room. I'm sure there was security guards on the outside. The cameras don't see the security guards, but still, the inmates at any moment could have bum rushed a kid and take his life at any moment if he wanted to. But these was lifers. And so it was 20 years later, after Scare Straight, and I guess the film crew or the station that did the original Scare Straight wanted to see what the children or the juveniles who are now adults, what they were doing 20 years later, in addition to the inmates, what were they doing 20 years later. Again, mind you, majority of those had lifers, double life, 25, 35 years in prison, and that's what it was it. But, and I guess some of those lifers end up getting out. So I assume it was life with a chance of parole. There's a sentence you can get life with parole and then life, no chance of parole. So some of those lifers did get out 20 years later. But I focus on, they asked the now adults, the children, who were you afraid of the most when you was in that room with those inmates? And we all know, you have nothing but to lift weights. That's all you do in prison is lift weights. You have a lot of time. And they commented at those, with that juveniles, everyone's big to juveniles, but the muscles they would comment on, how big they were. But they said there was one guy who was smaller than all of them, put the most fear in them, because he had heart. And this guy I'm referring to, he was missing an eye. And I don't mean to laugh at that. He was missing an eye. And he had he pulled his shirt up where he had been cut a lot. And so they said, that guy I was afraid of. That guy I was afraid of. That guy right there. And so what I'm getting at, you don't have to be big to play in the NFL. You got to have heart. You got to have heart. You got to have big time heart. And I think our secondary is like that. And it rubs off. And I think, what's his name? Donovan, that guy. I really got to learn some of these players that, I got to memorize these names on that I'm not used to, that don't, wasn't projected to start. So I like our defense, and I know the defensive coordinator is going to have some time, some sleepless nights to deal with that. And now that we have the Rams coming up next week, I anticipate Cooper Rush playing again. I don't think Dak will go to play because it was reported today Dak had some swelling in his thumb. I think he was trying to rush to get back because he's hearing this chatter, in the media. They want, they prefer to have Cooper Rush as the starting quarterback, who really hadn't been tested yet. We're going to be tested next week, and then some, and after that. My wish, Dak hold off, get healthy 100%, come back on the Eagles game. And I feel lucky for us, we playing the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly as our first game of the two, because I do not like playing in Philadelphia in December or early January. I just don't. I'd rather play the Philadelphia Eagles the first game in Philadelphia and get that over with. It's like Dallas historically do not play well in cold weather. I mean, we lost 2 NFL championships right? We lost to the Green Bay Packers. And there's times we lost to Green Bay in Limbaugh in the playoffs. We don't do well. I mean, we have won. I mean, we went up into the Meadowlands. I think it was the game that Emmitt Smith pretty much lost his shoulder. And I think he's still looking for it, right? He lost his shoulder, and we won that game. It was a playoff game, I think. It was a playoff game or a game to get to the playoffs. I think it was a game to get to the playoffs. And it was a road game, and it was in the 90s, and a lot of us, I'm sure you remember that. Some of you probably don't. But it was a tough game because the Giants were good, and it was cold weather. I say that to also say, we used to be atrocious when we played with our blue jerseys, our dark jerseys, and teams used to know that. I knew that. And they would force us, if it was a away game for us, a home game for them, they would force us, even though their home jersey would be a light colored jersey, they would force us to wear the dark colored jersey because the Cowboys traditionally didn't play well in the dark colored jerseys. I'm thankful that we no longer play like that. We got over that thing there, so we do well in our dark jerseys now. But at one point we didn't. But we still do not do well or fare well in cold weather. Most teams don't. And I do not want to play the Eagles in December in Philadelphia. So I'm glad the first game against the Eagles will be in Dallas, and it won't be that cold. As I said, I'd rather see Dak come back on that game 100% than play against, the Rams. Again, this is the game that Cooper Rush is going to be tested. Manage the game, play within yourself. But I think we should see Zeke and Pollard do a lot better than they did today. And it's not that they didn't do well today, it's just that, it was hard to run on that team. The Commanders, they got a really, really good defensive line. A good portion of those defensive linemen are first rounders that they have. So they should show up. They should show out, and they did that against our makeshift offensive line, which I think is overachieving right now. So I'm happy about that. I think we saw a little scare. Zach Martin was hurt a little bit. I'm happy to see him back in the game. I saw Michael Parsons have a little issue with his back. I'm glad to see him get back into the game. Get in that hot tub, do what you got to do, get ready for next week. So I'm happy to see that. Before I leave, I'm going to drop this article with you if you don't mind. It's an article, it's a post-game article that was written about 3 hours ago. Why the Cowboys won this game, beat the Washington Commanders. And the writer is, because I'm going to give him his credit, is Garrett Pottle. This is for CBS Sports. And he wrote, the Cowboys are now one of the hottest teams in the NFL with Cooper Rush as their starting quarterback. Winners of 3 consecutive games after their 25-10 victory against the Washington Commanders in the comforts of AT&T Stadium. If you haven't had your victory drink yet, you need to go get your victory drink. Get your drink on. Finish Sunday off, because when I finish this video, I'm gonna be watching House of the Dragons. House of the Dragons, Sunday night. If you're not gotten to GOT, you need to get into GOT. Game of Thrones, House of the Dragons. So I got my victory. I'll probably catch a little football later tonight, and then get ready for House of the Dragon. Thanks. It's the prequel to Game of Thrones. If you don't know, ask somebody. That's pretty good. The Cowboys have won 8 straight games against NFC East teams dating to last season, with today's win coming thanks to a timely plays by wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. He had 6 receptions, 97 receiving yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. And Michael Gallup, with his first comeback off of a torn ACL in his left knee. 2 catches, 24 receiving yards, and 1 touchdown. cornerback Trayvon Diggs 3 passes defended and 1 interception. He chipped in as a well on defensive side. The writer goes, the game started slowly with 5 punts on the contest's first 7 drives. But after the Cowboys took a 6-0 lead, following a Brett Maher's second of his career 4 made field goals, Carson Wentz, he was 25 of 42, 170 yards, and 1 TD and 2 interceptions. He commanded the Washington offense down the field. He kept a 7-play, 65-yard drive with a perfectly placed over-the-shoulder pass to rookie Jahan Dotson, his 4th receiving touchdown in his many career games. Dallas proceeded to finish the game on a 19-3 run with Gallup 9-yard receiving touchdown coming just before halftime. And then there was CeeDee Lamb 30-yard walk-in receiving touchdown off a smooth double move, extending the lead to 22-10 on the first play of the 4th quarter. Rookie 5th-round draft pick Deron Bland, I mean, where did he come from? I got to learn our rookies, man. Playing his first defensive snap of the season in Week 4, intercepted Wentz on a 3rd and 9 deep in Washington territory and set up a Maher's final field goal from 29 yards out just under 4 minutes left in the game. So now he's going to tell us why the Cowboys won. So if you're a Cowboy fan, if you're a compadre, if you think you're in tune with this writer why he think we won, let me know in the comments. What Rush did against the Washington Commanders on Sundays is what he has done each of his 4 career starts for the Dallas Cowboys. That is, play steady. Control football while limiting turnovers and finding his playmakers at the right time. He got Gallup playing in his first game since Week 17 against the Arizona Cardinals last season, involved early by targeting the pass catcher on the first Dallas pass play of the game. Rush, and I like that because now you want to get Rush, get the jitters out of him. He's live action. He hasn't played since last season. Kellen Moore, that's 2 thumbs up to Kellen Moore to make sure that first play goes to Gallup. So that was pretty cool. Rush and Gallup showcased high-level chemistry on the Cowboys' first touchdown of the day. The quarterback sprinted toward the right sideline, and Gallup remained in the line with Rush across the back line of the end zone, hauling in Rush laser through the Commanders' secondary to take a 12-7 lead in the break. Rush hit Lamb for a touchdown for a 2nd straight game this week on a wide-open toss for 30 yards after needing to place the ball perfectly in the back corner of the end zone on Monday Night Football against the Giants. Rush has yet to throw an interception this season and has been sacked only 4 times in 3 starts. Rush either gets the ball out to his intended target quickly or throws the ball away, therefore managing the game the exact way head coach Mike McCarthy and offensive coordinator Kevin Moore have drawn out. I agree with that analysis. This is why we won. He's not, well, I'm going to see if he's going to mention another reason why I think we won. Even though the Cowboys defense pressured Wentz on just 17.8% of his dropbacks and recorded only 2 sacks as a team, the Cowboys secondary was glued to the Commanders pass catchers all afternoon, making Wentz work hard on every throw. Diggs is playing the best football of his career, either deflecting or intercepting all 3 passes in his vicinity, which was intended to his target primary receiver, defender. Outside of linebacker Michael Parsons and defensive DeMarcus Lawrence, each not recording a sack, the defense played about as well as they could have. So there you go. That's why we're getting at. I want to make sure that the article states something about our defense, and that's why pretty much we won this game. Because without our defense, we don't win this game. Because it would have been too close. Wentz did about what she could do against our defense. After playing, crappy last week, knowing he's seen some film on how he played against the Eagles. So he played pretty well. It was just our pass rush, 4-man front, and our defenders, on their receivers, he had no chance. So our defense is they're playing lights out. The Cowboys are now in the thick of the very early NFC playoff picture at 3-1. And finally, he's going to say why the Commanders lost. Everything seems hard right now on both sides of the ball, Washington. And if you're a Washington Commander fan and you got me watching on this channel, let me know if you agree with this. Hit me in this writer. Hit me in the comments there. The Commanders receiving core had difficulty separating from the Dallas secondary, leaving their defense in a spot where it needed to hold the Cowboys under 20 for a chance to win. A season-high 11 penalties didn't help either, including an ill-timed intentional grounding penalty by Wentz that killed the Commanders' drive and resulted in a punt, as well as an illegal contact flag that erased what would have been a rush interception. Losers of 3 in a row, the Commanders have some soul searching to do. Yeah, they do. So I kind of agree with his analysis of why they lost the game. And I'm on record to say that intentional grounding is a sack. It should be a sack if it's behind the line of scrimmage. And that's what that's kind of I don't know. It's kind of stupid to say for me to say if you're behind the line of scrimmage, it is going to be an intentional grounding. We have the Rams coming up, folks. We have the Rams coming up, my compadres. I'd rather see Cooper Rush play and Dak Prescott get healthy. And then we play the Eagles. The Eagles. Eagle fans, you should know we are the NFC East champions until it's taken away from us. Dak Prescott will play that game. I'm hopeful that he'll play that game. And we keep it rolling. Thank you for coming by the channel, JMax Sports 24/7. Again, if it's your first time coming by the channel, if you could, please like, share, and subscribe. Help me grow the channel. I really appreciate it. Until the next video goes up, peace, 2 figures.